Jai Jagannath, thank you for participating to this Bhagavad Gita study session. We are reading chapter 16, the qualities of the Devas and the Asuras, the difference of characteristics between the Devas and Asuras. So the first 5 verses were discussing the Devas, and now we are going into the Asuric. So we go back to verse 6. In this world there are 2 types of created beings, the divine and the demoniac. Demoniac, we already mentioned, that is not very appropriate to the Asura concept, but everybody's using demoniac, so let's go and then we'll explain better. The verse says, I have explained about the divine creation. O son of Pritha, listen to me. I will now describe elaborately the characteristics of the Asuras. Daiva and Asura. So, those could be also human beings. Asuras can be superhuman or human. So, we should have a look around and see if the people we know are Devas or Asuras. Okay, verse 7. Asuras do not have correct knowledge about engaging in duties and renunciation. These are the 2 different things, pravrittim and nivrittim. Pravrittim cha, nivrittim cha. Pravrittim means to engage in duties or engaging in action, and nivritti means renunciation or abstention from action. Janana vidur asura. They don't know the difference. They have no purity or proper behavior or truthfulness. This is interesting. Purity nasocham. Purity doesn't just apply to taking a bath, it applies to mental purity. Purity of work, purity of engagement, purity in the relationships. There is no purity there. Okay. Napi chacharo, nor proper behavior. They do whatever they want. Or truthfulness. The truthfulness is also even the most important of the 3. These 3 major qualities, purity, proper behavior, and truthfulness, are the opposite of the Asuric mentality. Okay, let's go on. Verse 8. They say that the universe is false and temporary, and there is no God and no creation based on cause and effect. For them, the only reason for the existence of the world is mere sense gratification. So, this is, the universe is false and temporary. In fact, it could seem false and temporary, but it's not false in the sense of asatyam. The universe is Maya. The material universe is false in the sense that it is not what it seems to be, but it is not false because it actually exists. And there is a purpose for its existence. The purpose of the existence of the material universe is to help the souls to develop, to learn and develop their potential. So it is false in the sense that the engagement is not absolute, doesn't have an absolute value. Just like in school, we are given some maths problems, mathematic problems, and for example, talking about how many mangoes we have. The fact is that when we are writing the test in mathematics, nobody has any mangoes in the school, but it's a hypothesis. It's a theoretical idea that helps us to understand the actual facts of mathematics. So in the same way, the material universe, with all the material things, is false and temporary because the relationships we have are just relationships based on the body. The things we do are based on the body. The identifications, the attachments, the desires and everything are just based on the body, and we know that the body is very temporary and it's not us. It's false identification. But it is not completely non-existing. Now, who is thinking that the universe is definitely not existing? The so-called scientists that have a mechanistic vision of reality, they think that everything is just made out of atoms. So there is no spirit, no souls. That the consciousness is just a combination of chemicals. So they don't give any actual importance to human life or to the life of any being. So they see humans, animals, and so on just as resources, as properties, possessions. They don't have a soul. They're just bodies. So this is a very Asuric vision, and it's the idea that the consciousness is false in the sense that there is no consciousness, there is no I, there is no aham. It's just a series of biochemical reactions that make us think that we are individuals. Do you follow? You understand?
Yes.
There are two different levels of seeing the Brahma Satya Jagan Mithya. The Brahman realized person, the Brahma Bhuta, the Brahma, Sita Pragya, someone who has attained liberation, who has attained the existence of Brahman, also can see that the material universe, Jagat, is, in a sense, it's illusory and temporary. But there is a purpose. So, because the Asuras think that the universe is false and temporary because there is no God and no creation based on cause and effect. So there is no creation. There is no God. Cause and effect means, aparaspara. It's a balance. It's a balance on being and non-being. Cause and effect in the sense of perceiving that the duality is illusory. You see the point. So God exists in everything. Brahman is everything, is existence itself. But the manifestation of Brahman is not false and temporary in general. The products of the manifestation of Brahman are temporary. But Brahman is not temporary. The material universe is not temporary in the sense that it's a cycle of creation, maintenance, and destruction. So it always exists, sometimes manifested and sometimes not non-manifested. But it exists always. So Brahman is always existing, although the material forms constantly change. So we could say that they don't really exist. Okay. It's a difficult point because it seems to contradict the Brahman realization. But it doesn't really contradict it if we actually see it from the proper angle. You understand?
Yes.
Okay, very good.
Okay.
Because it's difficult. I know it's difficult. For them, for the Asuras, the only reason for the existence of the world is mere sense gratification. So if they get more, sense gratification and power and material benefit and everything, they think that's good enough. 9. Because they are not intelligent, they accept these beliefs, losing the consciousness of the true self. On that basis, they develop horrible activities that unnecessarily cause damage to the world. And this is so, so visible, so obvious today. So they lack intelligence because if they were more intelligent, they could understand how understanding the purpose of the universe, the purpose of creation, as a contrast, to help us develop, So they don't understand that, so they don't know what is the purpose of life. They don't know what is the purpose of the world. So they conclude the purpose of life and the world is just, enjoy. Have interest, likes and dislikes, and run away from things you don't like and run after things you like. But that is not the purpose of life. Why they accept these beliefs? Because they have lost the consciousness of the true self. What is the true self? Is the Atman. And the Atman is non-divided as Brahman. So this is the actual purpose of life and the world. Because our true potential is to develop our realization of the self. The self is the Atman Brahman. On that basis, they develop horrible activities. Yeah, of course, because they think that life and the world have no meaning, so they go for whatever they consider self gratification, from abuse to genocide, from slaughterhouses to whatever, destroying the environment. They're horrible activities that cause damage, unnecessary damage to the world. Jaya Jagata Hita. Without any benefit. We all have to cause some damage just to survive and do our work. But in our proper work, we do more good than damage. We create more benefit than damage. And for the small damage that we really need to do, we counteract the effect with the Panchamahayaga. We contribute more to the happiness, well-being, and progress of the entire universal community than the effect of what we take for our survival and our work. In this way, all the species of life do this. So we are also part of the great universal community, and we also have the duty to do more benefit than damage to the general community. Okay. Anything else here? No.
No.
Clear enough. Okay.
Yes.
10. Taking shelter in insatiable lust, religious hypocrisy, and false prestige. Immersed in confused and delusional beliefs, they dedicate themselves to adharmic achievements and engage in impure religious vows. So the last is kama, means desires. They always want something. More and more and more and more. There's no end to the desires, to the sense gratification. And also, it's interesting that this verse is speaking about religious hypocrisy and impure religious vows. So, it's not that asuras do not engage in religion. In fact, sometimes they present themselves as the most religious of all. But because they want to show that religious, because of false prestige, dambha, mana, they want respect, they want honors, they want worship, false prestige, because it's something that people would not ordinarily give to you because you are not really doing anything so special. Maybe you're not even doing anything good. But they make a big show of being religious people so that they can get, personal benefit. Now, if you look around, 99% of religious people in Kali Yuga look just like this. They want to show they're
Yes.
great, religious people. For what? Because they want to worship fame, profit, adoration, distinction, fame. But this is Asuric. What are the impure religious vows, for example? Impure religious vows, like, for example, like animal sacrifice, blood sacrifice. It's impure. Or religious vows, the the moral police that go around and try to watch what other people are doing in their private lives. Of course, these morality police are not concerned with violence. They don't want to stop violence and aggression. They just want to stop what they call immorality. Okay. And adharmic achievements, the basic sign, basic characteristic of adharma is the violation of satyam. So whatever achievement is going against satyam is adharmic. Confused and delusional beliefs, well, that is not so easy to make them understand, but we can continue anyway. Then we have verse 11. They certainly remain immersed in endless worries up to the very end of their lives, because they have taken shelter of mere sense gratification as the supreme purpose of life. So many people say, I become religious when I get old. Nope. They never really understand what religion and spirituality means, because they want sense gratification as the supreme purpose of life. So they want, even when they become old and religious, in a general sense, superficial sense, they still want to have all their, comforts, profit, adoration, fame, name, and honors and everything. So, what is the difference? No difference. All prestige. Okay, then we have 12. Bound by hundreds of ropes in the form of desires, always immersed in lust and anger, they strive to increase their desires, and for that purpose they adopt any means to accumulate wealth. Basically, lots of people are like that. Now, lust and anger, they're connected. It's lust when it turns into anger if you're not satisfied. There is a difference between the karma in the sense of lust and the karma in the sense of love. Even, romantic or physical love is different in the sense that because you can control your mind and you're not attached, you don't have the material attachment. When your desire is not fulfilled, you don't get angry. Just okay, what to do. So, it's not bad to have desires, but it's bad to try to increase the desires. We all have desires. Some of these desires are actually needs, but the actual needs are not so many. They can usually be satisfied in a decent manner without accumulating so much possessions and money, you know. But the problem is that when you want to create more desires, and then you need more money and more possessions that you can actually use. So people have 2 cars, 20 cars, you know, an entire fleet of cars. And how many cars you actually use? One, you know. So why you need 10 cars? Why you need, a very big house? You know, if you use 2-3 rooms, that's sufficient. You know. Or how many shoes some people have? Some people have dozens of shoes. Yeah. It's actually, couple of pairs of shoes is sufficient. One for the winter and one for the summer, because, if you go around in winter with the summer shoes, it's not so good. You go around in summer with the winter shoes, it's not so good. So, 2 pairs of shoes, simple. I can go with any type of clothing, and clothing the same. So, but the point is, we are constantly pushed by advertisement towards consumerism, because the success of a nation is calculated on based on the money. It's called the gross domestic product. Even if a large percentage of this production is actually unnecessary and will be wasted and end up as garbage, or just be spoiled and unused, accumulated, hoarded. So we are all under pressure because of advertisement and the false needs that are pushed on us in the name of progress and modernity and development. But it's not sustainable. Cannot go on like this. We are already filled with garbage everywhere. And the resources of the planet are being exploited, squeezed dry and wasted. So that's Asura. Any question here?
No.
I think it's
Yeah,
tragically
it's
clear.
straightforward. We see that all around. We see that all around.
Yeah, we can believe that. We believe that. Okay. Now Krishna is saying, what the Asura thinks. The Asura thinks, today I have acquired all this and I will get even more, as much as my mind desires. This wealth is mine and it will increase more and more. 90%, more than 90% of the planet is property of 9 families. The money that these people have is, completely incalculable. The numbers don't even make any sense anymore. So we have some pretty big asuras. Anyway, let's go on. Next. I have killed that enemy of mine, and I will kill others too. I am the Lord and Master of all I survey. I am the enjoyer. I am perfect, powerful, and happy. Oh, even some religious people think like that. Okay. Confused by ignorance, the Asura thinks, I have many followers. I am successful and wealthy. Who can be compared to me? I shall perform rituals. I shall distribute charity, and I shall be pleased by the results. Okay. Not only religious leaders, but politicians and, government people and, even the so-called influencers, that there are many, many people who have taken advantage of the general stupidity of the population and of the, social media. And they are getting so many followers, making so much money, and making people even more stupid. But they think they're successful and wealthy, and there are so many of their followers who want to imitate, their heroes. So we have horrible things going on. And, because they think they're religious, they will perform rituals and distribute charity. But why they do rituals and charity? Because they want something back. They want some results. Selfish results. Okay, verse 16. Tormented by innumerable anxieties and covered by a net of illusion, hopelessly attached to the enjoyment of lust, they fall into a dirty, hellish condition. But, these asuras, are they really happy? Nope. They're not happy because they are always scared of losing what they have and not getting enough, because they have really, a very unhealthy and damaged sense of self-value, because they don't know what the self is. So what kind of value they can give to the actual self if they don't even know what the self is? So when we say self-confidence, self-value, what is the self? These people don't know what the self is. How can they have self-confidence? They are wearing masks. So they are confident not on the self, but on their material identification. But how confident can they really be? Because we know that material identification is certainly not a permanent thing. Because today we are young, tomorrow we are old. Today we are alive and tomorrow we'll be dead. Today we are rich and tomorrow we may become poor. Now so many things can happen. So how can you actually be free from anxiety if you bet everything, if you, focus on material identification? It's impossible. You can only get anxiety and fear. And all this is a net of illusion. This is really not happiness. Worries, anxieties, worries. The more you have, the more you have to worry about. Okay, 17. Deluded by egotism, impudence, false prestige, and the possession of wealth, they celebrate rituals and sacrifices that have no real value because of their hypocrisy and ignorance of the proper purpose and rules. Wow. Yeah. Pretty clear. Go on. Yeah, and then just compare this verse with what Krishna is actually asking. You know, Patram Pushpam Palam Toyam Yome Bhaktya Prayachati. You know, there's no need for all these rituals, sacrifices, and everything. Especially if we are, you know, if we are not honest, you know. What is the benefit of buying gold for the temple and the deities and then mistreating the devotees? The deity is not happy. There is a famous story when Krishna went to Hastinapura, and Duryodhana had invited him for lunch and prepared so much, a big feast, you know, with so many preparations, a very costly feast. And Krishna went to lunch to go and have food in Vidura's house. And Vidura was so enthusiastic about having Krishna that he had some bananas, you know, and he didn't have much, you know, for a meal. And he was offering the bananas, but offering the peels and throwing away the fruit, the banana. You know, and Krishna was eating the peels happily. You know, it's not that Vidura wanted to give the peels to Krishna and eat the bananas himself. You know, he was, you know, he was so confused. You know, he was thinking, oh, Krishna has come. So whatever he had, he gave to Krishna, and it happens to have been the peels. You know, but Krishna was not. You know, Krishna preferred that to Duryodhana's, you know, expensive arrangements. So, you know, we need to ask ourselves how we actually understand God, if we actually understand God or not. Because maybe it's our projection. Anyway, let's see. And verse 18. Taking shelter in ahankara, physical or material strength, arrogance, lust and anger, they show envy and hatred against me, as I reside in their own bodies and in the bodies of others. So how can someone who's creating suffering, unnecessary suffering, to innocent beings, you know, how can they actually please God with elaborate rituals and worship and costly offerings and stuff? It is not happening. Krishna is saying very clearly, you know, they take shelter in ahankara, and strength means balam, you know, they're powerful. They think they're powerful, you know, and pride, arrogance, you know, because they are big people, big people. But if they mistreat innocent beings, you know, innocent people and innocent animals even, they are actually, you know, attacking God that is inside the heart of everyone. So this is a big problem. We can see who is really, you know, Deva and who is Asura. They're all Asuras. Ooh, most of them. So, what is Krishna saying? What is, you know, God saying? Verse 19. I send these hateful and cruel people, the most degraded among human beings. We are talking about human beings here, not the Daityas and Danaras. Into a long imprisonment in the samsara, to take birth in inauspicious asuric wombs again and again. Because they need to learn something. And maybe they will at some point. Maybe not. So, verse 20. A son of Kunti, even after taking birth from Asuric wombs lifetime after lifetime, these fools remain unable to attain me because they slide constantly into degradation. So, it's still, it takes a lot to get out of this, this trap. Verse 21. The threefold gate to hellish life and to self-destruction consists of the mixture of lust, greed, and anger. Therefore, one should abandon these three. So, also in verse 337, it's a very a very similar verse. For example, Kama Esha Kruda Esha Rajaguna Samudbhava Mahasano Mahapadma Vidyanam Mit Iha Vairinam. This power is a mixture of desire and anger, and it is born from the quality of passion. Know that it is all-devouring, the cause of great sins, and the greatest enemy in this world. So again, this is in chapter 3, again, verse 39. Avritam gyanam etena, gyanina nitya vairina, kama rupena kuntaya, dushpurena nalena cha. Arjuna, this mixture of lust and anger can cover even the knowledge of wise persons. It is a perpetual enemy, the all-consuming fire. Then we also have in chapter 5, Saknoti haiva yasadhum praksarira vimokshana kama krodhodbhavam vegam sayukta sasukhinara. One who becomes capable of withstanding the onslaughts of this lust and anger before leaving the body is a yogi and a happy human being. Kama krodha vimuktatma, yatinam yata chetasam, abhito brahma nirvanam, vartate vidatmanam. The saintly persons who are completely free from lust and anger and have their consciousness steadily fixed in Brahman, who have realized the self, for them there is Brahma Nirvana very soon. Okay. And so on, we have chapter verses 7, 11, 16, 12, 16, 18, 17, 5, and finally 1853. Okay, so we go on. O son of Kunti, this is verse 22. O son of Kunti, a human being who becomes completely free from this threefold gateway to tamas is really acting for his own benefit, is engaged in transcendental activities, and attains the supreme destination. And we have 23. One who neglects the knowledge of the scriptures and takes up actions based on whimsical desires will not attain perfection, happiness, or the supreme destination. Well, lots of people are thinking that the Vedic knowledge is obsolete, so they have to invent something else. Okay, that's not not a good idea. Okay, so we have verse 24. Therefore, you should perform your activities in this world according to the directions offered by the Shastra about determining one's duty. So, we need to work according to the directions offered by the Shastra. Our duty is determined by our guna and karma and is supposed to be progressive, to help us develop our potential to become more evolved, to become a better person. So this is the end of chapter 16, because next is chapter 17, which is continuing a little bit in the same way, only it is talking in terms of the three gunas more than the difference between Daiva and Asura. Okay, we are practically at the end, at the end of the hour. So, do you have questions?
No, like today's topic
It's
is we
all
can
very clear.
see all around. Yeah.
Extremely clear, yeah. So, okay, in case you think about any question in these next few days, make a list and then we can discuss about them
Sure.
next time. So,
Yeah.
thank you again. Next time, chapter
Thank you for your
17.
time.